Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. I wanted to take a few moments and give our listeners and viewers an update on something that we've asked you to help all of us with. It's not just the Dove. I hope you understand that. This is a nationwide issue as the FCC has opened up what they call the incentive auction, a spectrum packing of frequencies that will impact television as we know it across the country. There are some good things about this, and there are some things that are very sad to see happen about this. And many of you have followed through. You've sent your letters. You've made your phone calls. And I want to say thank you. Thank you very, very much for doing what we asked you to do. It has had an impact. And we are grateful that you took the time out of your busy schedules to call your representative or your senators and let them know that we wanted the what they call the incentive, the auction, to be delayed. What is happening here is that the FCC is recognizing that technology is changing. No question about it. Well, we hear such things as the 3.0, which is the ATCS or ATSC, excuse me, 3.0, which is it's a technical term that compacts frequencies for the future. Which does allow television stations to do multiple channeling, no question about that. There's also, we have what they call 4G or 4K technology in some of the studios, and then the fifth generation called the 5G wireless services, which are now out in the future. All of this is to certainly make broadcasting more interactive, make it better, clearer pictures and all that. But the problem is that when the FCC was looking at doing this maneuver, there is a classification of television stations called low power television stations, LPTV. And there are also what they call television translators. They're all over the place. The state of Oregon has hundreds of LPTVs and hundreds of television translators. That frequency range became negotiable, and primarily because the classification is considered secondary class. Well, you have to understand that secondary class doesn't mean that they're just something that can be thrown away. The secondary class means that we had to yield to large, what they call full power stations or Class A stations. Our frequencies couldn't interfere with their frequencies. That's the only difference of what they mean by a secondary classification for LPTV. The whole LPTV industry was designed to allow ethnic organizations, faith-based organizations, small communities to have access to the airways, especially in the rural areas and in some of the major cities as well. That's why the LPTV spectrum was developed in the first place. None of us have violated our regulations or rules in operating under the rules and regulations that were given to us to be license holders. So to have our licenses revoked for no other reason than the FCC wanted to sell them to other companies to accomplish what they call the spectrum packing. If you go to the FCC site, you'll see that this is you'll see the word involuntary, relinquishing your license on a voluntary basis. That's partially true. It only applies to the high power stations and the Class A stations. It does not apply to the LPTV station. And let me explain that. If an LPTV station voluntarily gives up their license, they're out everything that they have spent. There is no restitution, there's no incentive to give it up, there's no money on the table. If a high power station or a Class A station decides they want to voluntarily relinquish their license or their spectrum in a market, they will be compensated millions of dollars. And if they decide to move and apply for another channel, they will be given money to do that. The LPTV stations are given nothing. If we lose our license and we're given the opportunity to apply for another one, all of that is done at our expense. Now, the sad part about this, and engineers will tell you this, and IT people will tell you this, and that is that this particular frequency spectrum band didn't have to be attacked. It was the low-hanging fruit for the government to kind of throw under the bus. And we've been working hard on this to stop it. There are organizations all across the country have been working for years to stop this. I have several of them in front of me this morning. The LPTV Spectrum Rights Coalition. I have the ATB, which is the Advanced Television Broadcast Alliance group, and others who have been working hard, filing lawsuits, using a lot of money with legal avenues to maybe stop this incentive. The FCC went through with it yesterday anyway. At 6 o'clock last night, Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Western Time, the auction door was open. As of this morning, I have no idea what's going on. We don't know what's going on. The government is hoping to raise billions of dollars by having stations either voluntarily give up their license, or if a wireless company wants to buy a frequency in a market, they can offer some money for it, and that person will lose their license. Now, you're not reading that on the FCC page. It's just not. It's not that the information they've put on their websites is not true. It's not complete. So this is a sad day. And I want to remind our viewers and listeners, you probably didn't realize this, but several months ago, we were talking about the fact that the federal government wanted to take over control of the internet. They have done that. And the internet, you might not know, is now under the auspices of the federal government as a utility. Now, they haven't done anything about it yet, and I think that's part of their strategy. But in time, you might be seeing some very restrictive controls on the internet, on content. We warned you about that websites might be restricted on what they can say, especially religious websites, what they can say on their websites about certain things. So anyway, the only thing I can tell you is that we're in some uncharted waters. We don't know where we are. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what's happening now. There has not been a government accounting office impact study on what this may do to the LPTV industry. We don't know that if the software that was programmed to handle this auction is working or was even in place yet. And I think what will happen, just my guess, that the auction will start. It has started yesterday. You'll start seeing bids on frequencies in various markets, and the FCC will be forced to extend those dates because the money won't roll in as fast as they think it will. And even some of the wireless companies who they're opening this up to have said, we don't need these frequencies. We don't need this bandwidth. We have plenty to do what we want to do. But the commission has done this anyway. It's a sad day, folks, because here's what will happen. If any broadcast licensee, radio, television, full power station, Class A station, LPTV station, if any broadcast entity loses its license for no other reason that the government wants to take it away and sell it to somebody else, opens Pandora's box. I don't care what other politicians telling you. I don't care what anybody else at the FCC is telling you. This sets a precedence. And if any of our fellow broadcasters lose their license under this auction for no other reason, then the FCC wants to take their frequency and sell it to a wireless company to advance their cause, their purpose, and their profit line. There's nothing stopping this precedence from coming back in the future and even going after high power stations or Class A stations. What's this all about? It's the squeezing of the spectrum down so that it allows for more opportunity for those frequencies to be used by wireless companies, which in turn means this. It's just a matter of time. Whether we see it in my lifetime or not, I don't know. The way things are accelerating so fast, it could very well happen. But in time, you'll be paying somebody to get your TV. You'll be paying somebody to get your TV. And what we know as free TV in America has now been put on the chopping block. And it's a sad day to see this happen because as high as 43% of America has switched what they call cut the cable. They have come off a satellite, they've come off the cable systems, and they've gone back to free TV because it is free. Now, let me explain that because I got a very nasty email about this yesterday. They're thinking that we're complaining because we were given a license free. We were not given a license free. We paid thousands of dollars to get a license. And we have paid thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop this television ministry so that we could offer it to you free. Now, we're supported by viewers and listeners, and that's how we stay on the air, and we are forever grateful for that. But we did not get our license free. We had to pay for it. And people need to understand, so do the big boys. People that have the big licenses and some of the other things, they had to pay for those licenses, and then they had to pay to set it all up. And they make it through advertising sales. We make it through donations. But to say that we just got the license free is not true. You pay big dollars to get these licenses. And it took us years and years and years waiting in line to get a television license. And today we have 2 of them, and one of them could easily be taken away. We don't know. We don't know. Most people will tell you that this is going to happen in large markets only, in the New Yorks and the Chicagos and the LAs and the Dallases and things like that. We don't know. We have no idea where this is going. The Pacific Northwest is one of the most desired places to live, and it's very possible that a wireless company would pick up some frequencies in these good markets that people will be living in, understanding that in the future there's a lot of business for them to be gained. So I want to say thank you for your prayers. I want to say thank you for your letters and your phone calls. I'm sorry that some of the answers that you got back were just standard answers. But we are now in uncharted waters. I don't know where this is going. I don't know if it will impact the Dove. But we will know within the next several weeks and months that you'll start hearing about some low-power television stations and television translators whose frequencies were sold to wireless companies for a profit, and they got nothing in return. It's a sad day. And but we'll keep you posted, and we'll keep you advised. My email box is packed full of this information over yesterday. This is just some of the stuff that I got from people who've been helping us battling it. We're all stunned that all of our efforts were unheard and got nowhere. So God knows. We're going to trust Him. We're going to move forward. We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at thedove.us.